So recently I've configured a new lighting setup, so hopefully the lighting in today's video should be really good, and hopefully my teeth won't look disgustingly yellow. Now the reason why they did look yellow in my other videos is because I used a yellow light, and when you use a high quality camera, believe it or not, the yellow light causes my teeth to appear yellow. Who would have thought? But in today's video, we're going to be doing the news. Welcome to CNN. This is not a very good news video, is it? Flippin' heck. The goddamn news anchor complaining about how people are criticizing their teeth. God dang it. So I actually made a video, I think 3 or so months ago, in which I talked about the news, and you guys seem to really enjoy it. I don't know why I didn't bother making a second episode until now. If you guys want a third episode, be sure to leave me a like. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Obviously, this is a bit of a comedic twist of a normal news show. I'm trying to make it funny for you guys, and I want to talk about these topics because I think that the news is neglected a lot. I think that people don't bother reading the news, and it is actually really interesting. So we're going to be talking about 3 news stories that I have handpicked with my massive goddamn hands. Like, my hands are so big. I don't think I've met one person who has bigger hands than me, thinking about it.
I'm gay.
So we're going to start off with the worst story that I've seen, and I want to clarify that this story may seem a bit scary on surface value, so please just keep watching this video if you do not want to be spooked. So today, as I'm recording this video on the 25th of January, obviously this video will come out a little bit later, the Doomsday clock has moved to just 2 minutes to apocalypse. Whoa! So pretty much the Doomsday clock is a metaphorical symbolism of how close the world is to a nuclear war that would cause an apocalypse. Now, this tool, as you can see here, it is 100% made for people to fearmonger. The clock is actually modified by an organization called the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. Just because they are an organization does not mean they can't make money. They flipping can, and that's why they try to fearmonger everyone. But pretty much, a lot of people get scared about this clock. Effectively, they take into consideration stuff like climate change, world leaders, risk of war, and they combine it into kind of a clock, and they try to show how close we are to the apocalypse. And to be fair, it doesn't matter what time the clock is set at, it's always scary, because the earliest the clock can be is 1/4 to midnight. And it's pretty terrifying to think that we are 15 minutes to apocalypse, which is literally what it means on the least critical setting. When it's 2 minutes away from apocalypse, it's flipping terrifying. The clock does change, by the way. It changes all the time. Since I've been born, it's got closer to apocalypse, which is pretty good. But I don't get why they bother doing this, because so many people get scared about it. And I think people look at politics too much like a game, if that makes any sense. Like, a lot of people, they see politicians as evil, when actually no one wants a war. Like, who wants to die? Seriously. And that's not a funny joke. Oh, I want to die, ha! No, seriously, who does want to die? No one. So why would all these world leaders want to cause a war? They wouldn't. And also, you've got to realize that communication in the world is amazing. It's very hard for a country to prepare for war without everyone realizing. So, for example, let me just chuck out, say, the worst possible scenario. Let's say China are declaring war on flipping everyone, okay? Because that's what China like to do, god dang it. They would have to plan for it. Like, they would have to move troops, and it would be so obvious that they're doing it that the war wouldn't be able to start properly, because the world would already know that it's about to start, and obviously precautions could be taken. So I don't understand why this clock is so trivial. Oh my god, we're so close to the apocalypse. I'm going to see this video in 5 years and nothing's going to have changed. I can guarantee it. The clock is made to fearmonger and it just annoys me. So please don't take it seriously. The second story is a lot more light-hearted, and the title of the story reads, Grumpy Cat wins 710 grand payout in copyright lawsuit. So effectively, Grumpy Cat, the funny meme. I don't get why people even care about Grumpy Cat anymore, because I think that meme died like 3 years ago. I'm surprised the cat didn't die, not gonna lie. But effectively, Grumpy Cat is obviously like a trademark. The owners are capitalizing on this cat's literal deformity. You've got to realize that this cat actually has a special type of dwarfism, which causes it to look so flipping weird. Regardless of that, the way that they've actually tried to profit off of Grumpy Cat is by partnering with this coffee company, I believe. And this coffee company, they agreed to pay a lump sum to use this trademark, because obviously the trademark is so recognizable, it would help increase the sales of the coffee. Why did I say that so badly? But effectively, this coffee company started selling like t-shirts, and they started breaching the trademark law simply because they agreed to only use the trademark for their coffee that they sold, not their t-shirt that they were trying to sell. This coffee company started selling coffee Grumpy Cat t-shirts, and it kind of breached the trademark law, I suppose, and they definitely do deserve to win the case, the owners of Grumpy Cat. But to be fair, I think it is a little bit crazy how much money they got for it. Like, seriously, 710 grand just for damages. Like, seriously, what type of damages are gonna arise from selling Grumpy Cat t-shirts that are related with coffee? It just doesn't make really much sense to me. Of course, if it wasn't in the contract that was signed, they can 100% sue for damages, but it just seems like, you know, they're trying to make as much money out of this poor cat as possible, because you got to realize it's literally just a cat. The trademark is just a cat. It's just a deformed cat at the end of the day. The last story I want to talk about is really goddamn sad and really messed up. So there was this case, there was 13 children who were effectively locked up and tortured. Why? I don't know. No one knows. By these two nutcases. Like, there's no other way to put it. So the mother and father, these 13 kids, that's ridiculous. And I use the word kids very loosely. I think their ages varied between 2 and 29. But effectively, they kept these 13 kids in captivity. And apparently, and the conditions that these kids were kept in were just awful. They do have some accounts which try to explain what it was like for these kids. And I'm not going to lie, I don't believe them fully. Like, I believe that they're not lying, but I think that the media is taking them a little bit over the top. Like, for example, apparently they were only eating one meal a day, which, to be fair, if you're only eating one meal a day, you're not going to survive, especially if you're a child. So I do think that that was a little bit, you know, over-exaggerated. Well, technically under-exaggerated, but shut up. It's such a sad story, though. It annoys me how all these media companies are putting ads, you know, next to these stories. Oh, yeah, these kids, all their lives have been ruined. Oh, do you want to buy a plane ticket? Do you want to fly to Alicante? Sure, you can. Like, it just seems kind of stupid. Some of the sick things that they let the kids do, like, for example, they had diaries. Like, that was our only form of entertainment. It just seems sick. It's obvious that these parents are just flipping psychopaths. And apparently it was fueled by religion as well, which, to be fair, I didn't understand why they did it until I read that they were religious. Like, that's 100% why they did it. They're just goddamn loonies. I just can't believe how old some of these kids were. Well, I say kids. They technically are kids, you know. They've never had a normal life. They haven't had a job. At the age of 29, they are effectively kids. They were found in dirty conditions and they were starved, which is just... it's just sick. And I read about how they were teased with food, which I just... like, this story went from horrendous, like, these poor siblings, they were shackled to their beds, to just... what? Teased with food as they're starving, like... what? I don't understand. I can see why the death penalty is allowed in many states in America. just by this. Effectively, just today, apparently, the parents aren't even allowed to see their kids. These kids are probably terrified of their parents. They're probably terrified of everything because they've never lived a normal life, which is crazy. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know that was obviously quite a depressing story to end on, but I wanted to talk about things that were happening in the world. I find these videos insanely fun to make. I love talking about the news because obviously the news is actually real and it's quite interesting to see what's actually happening in the real world. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave me a like, leave me a comment, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new today. By the way, guys, it's 2 minutes until demonetization, so